Welcome back to the Development Tank, everyone. Pumped to get into it today. We've got our project snapshot with Claire Kelly, head of projects here at Little Fish. We'll be unpacking the floor plans and what we've achieved on our Sandringham site, Daly Road. Super exciting. We bought it a few weeks ago. Gav did the feasibility a few weeks ago on this channel, so go back and suss that out if you want to refresh yourself. But we've got floor plans. The team doesn't muck around, so we're going to get into that. Now, Gav's back. He's been buying site insiders. If you know, you know. He bought on the weekend for a client. We're going to step everyone through that client journey, how long they were with us, how long it took, and how their patience paid off. So let's get into it. Site insiders, if you know, you know. We're back here with Gav. He's been buying again. Welcome back, Gav.
Good to be back. Had another good weekend.
Another win, mate. This is becoming a habit for you and your clients.
Look, I think buying property on a Saturday is my second favourite thing to do.
So do we want to talk about what your first favourite thing is?
Mountain biking.
Okay, of course. Gav, mate, fantastic work. When I got the message through, super excited. Can we dial it back to talk a little bit about the client's journey? We onboarded these clients just before Christmas, so they've been with us for a few months now. Do you want to talk about, where they sat, the areas they were looking and what that journey looked like?
Yeah, look, they're a young professional couple. So, look, probably no more than 30, I would say. Young family, but more importantly, they moved into Brighton East, renting there, and had a reasonably lower budget, but they wanted to use the money that they have to raise more capital through property development. Yeah. So they've contacted us. We've sort of worked through our process. They've come on board. They were roughly, I think when we first started chatting around, their budget was to buy land at around 1.2.
Yeah.
Which, with the cost of construction, you really need to be sort of, I guess, there's a certain level you've got to sell a townhouse at to make profit.
Yeah, 100%. There's no doubt that's definitely at the lower end where we see development stacking in Melbourne.
Yeah.
But by the sounds of it, they were patient. You were patient. You carried them through. And you got it done. So let me get this straight. So they have engaged us as site acquisition into project management. So site acquisition's, I guess, the first service, which you nailed on the weekend, and then they go into project management where our team manages their development for them.
Yeah, look, it's the start, I guess, of a longer-term relationship. They, like I said, they had the budget in mind. They'd been talking to a broker, a professional, pretty switched on, pretty smart people, I have to say.
Yep.
And I initially just started sending them a few sites in and around that budget range because it's a process where our clients need to get a feel for the areas that we're looking in for their budget, the types of properties we're looking for in those areas. But then I also provide them some high-level feasibilities, and then that then can be used to take back to their broker, to their team, and they can sort of work through exactly where their number is and work out basically, the number, what is their maximum spend for a site. And that ultimately helps us lead into our limit on auction day. Yep. But it just takes a bit of time and a little bit of process and a bit of back and forth. I'm supporting them through that process.
Yeah, I think it's a great point, Gav, because they're not just buying a property, set and forget, rent it out. They're buying a site, they're going to develop it, they're going to spend money on soft costs, money on construction, and there's lots of different bits and pieces in between. So for you to take them on that journey to get to the overall project figure, to get the buy figure, it is a bit of a journey, but one that you're really good at, I guess, carrying them through that, working in with the broker, working in with themselves, and getting them to a point where they go, okay, cool, I can buy that development site.
Well, that's the catch, isn't it? Ultimately, they buy it. It's their property. They put their name on the contract. So my process is to make them comfortable with that decision. So when an opportunity and a hot opportunity comes up, I want them to be completely confident in the area, the type of development, the total project cost, and be confident in the amount of money they've got to spend on that land and to be able to support the project from start to finish. So it's really it's building that confidence up. So on auction day, they say, look, I feel 100% sure that we're doing the right thing here, and let's go, let's get it.
Yeah. No, well done, Gav. Well done. Talk to me, mate. So talk to me about how the site come about and then the things that we did to lead us towards auction day.
Yeah, look, this actually was a site that came online. So there was a few around at the time. There was one that we were looking at. It didn't quite work out, and as you know, auctions aren't always our first go-to, but they're always on my list. You know, if a site's got all the characteristics we're looking for, then it's always going to be an option, right? So, but we worked through that detail, and there was one tree in the front yard that may have been a bit of an issue. Had an arborist look at that, signed off on that, no problem at all. Sent it to our designer. We sort of felt that we'd get 28s on there, maybe 29s. It's a south-facing yard. We'll have a quick look at that in a minute.
Yep.
There might be a little bit of concern around shadowing on a private open space, but nothing that's really going to impede the design too much at all. So it's understanding what we can get on it and then just relaying that to them as well, which ultimately, you know, if you're going to be doing 28s, we've got a pretty good idea on what the build cost is going to be. We can build out the feasibility. We get that communication going on the costs. Yeah,
100%. So the key is doing all the digging before you get to auction day. So like you said, it's gone to the designer. It's gone back across to them, to keeping them in the loop of what's going to be achieved. Maybe some sample floor plans have gone to them, some examples. It goes to a solicitor. All these are the cross the T's, dot the I's that needs to happen before auction day. And then you talk them through limits and things like that.
And that process was working right up until literally auction day, where you know, it was advertised at 1.2 to 1.3. We sort of saw value in a total project return, an ROI at the end of it, if we bought it probably just above the advertised range. So we had that in the feasibility. They then took that to their broker just to sort of firm it up. And on auction day, basically said, look, we can actually go a little bit further. We can go to here. Yeah, so it gave us a bit of headroom on auction day, which was great. Great.
So talk to me, you know, I love it. You know, you wake up Saturday morning. It's an autumn morning. It's a beautiful day out there, no wind. Which is the way you like it, so you can bid strong. But talk to me, mate. You went to the site, and how did the auction unfold compared to potentially the one you bought a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, look, it was there was probably 40 odd people there. It's you never know who's who. You know, it's not like unless you've got a guy standing there with his work boots on. You know, fresh from site, you couldn't tell if they're a builder or a developer or just families. Obviously, sometimes they've got kids out with them as well. So. Didn't really know how it was going to play out, but you're right. It was actually a really, really beautiful day, and that was a bit of a running joke amongst the agents there and me and the clients, just how nice it was. And again, you just don't know. You don't know. There's going to be 5 people there that's going to put their hand up. Yeah. It was a slow start, so I normally just wait to see how we go, see if we can get it on the market first. The agent was having a bit of trouble, so he sort of said, "Oh, look, let's start off at 1.2 because someone was being a smart ass and said, "Oh, I'll give you $1 million for it." But and he couldn't even get a jump from there. And I just said, "Look," he said, "Give me 10, give me 10." And I said, "Look, I'll give you 20. Let's go. Let's get on with it because it's going to go from. Yeah, it's probably going to go for."
Well, it's not even going to be on. It's not even going to be on the market, and that's the thing. We're there to buy for our clients, aren't we? Yeah. So. Let's go. You've gone bang at 20, and then if I know you well, you don't stop from there.
No, and well, there was a family there, and they were keen to work on 10s, and that's pretty much how it played out. He jumped in, and I just fired back every time that he sort of put his hand up, and there was always a bit of a discussion first, and the agent even joked, your indecisions, letting him think that you're almost done, sort of thing, and he then pulled it back to 5, and I think that's what he said. Oh, look, you don't want to cut it in half now, because he was obviously trying to get, ongoing bids, but it sort of fizzled out, and in the end, there was a couple of $5,000 bids, and we ended up picking it up for $1,310,000.
10,000. Yeah. No, great work, Gavin. I think if anyone playing along at home who's going to auction, sounded like you're the strongest guy there, and you picked up the chocolate. So I think, and that indecision during an auction, I don't think that is ever really required if you are prepared. Yeah. So if you are setting that limit, I think you set the limit. You have a little bit in store. So if we're into the ones, into the twos. We always like to have a bit of buffer there, but have those conversations beforehand. And when it's go time, it's go time. So, yeah, well done.
And the other thing to note here as well is, was it a deceased estate? I'd spoken to the agent a couple of weeks earlier. Look, is there an opportunity to pick it up earlier before auction? And because I knew that it was a deceased estate, they have to settle it within 2 years, I think, in order to avoid taxes. So they had to sell on the day.
Yeah.
And I knew, I think it was very early August that was the settlement date. They had to do it. They told us basically they had to do it. So it had to be sold in that time.
Yeah. There you go. So important. Do your research. Talk to the agents. An agent is your friend when buying property. They will facilitate that. So, yeah, good work, Gav. Now, can we, and obviously very happy client on the day.
They were wrapped.
You would have been a very happy boy as well.
Yeah, well, look, it was ended up picking it up quite a bit under their limit. So.
Yeah. And that's always nice. And I feel like that's always nice to come in on a Monday and tweak that feasibility up. Just there's more headroom in it because you've been able to buy it a bit cheaper than you thought. But super important for everyone, all the developers out there, you got to do the feasos, you got to do the work before you get there on the Sat day. Whether it's a private treaty or it's an auction campaign, you need to do the work and get yourself prepped and what you're prepared to go to. Anything under that gives you a bit more headroom, bit more moves to make, more contingency, maybe could sell them for a little bit less, just a little bit more breathing space. So, but you got to do the work, which is what we do.
One other thing I also did was I sent through a additional special condition to be put in the contract, allowing us access to the outside of the property between auction day and settlement date, so we can get our consultants on the ground there.
Yeah, great point, and that's a great tip for all you guys playing along at home. Make sure you can get that access between purchase and settlement, because that is time well spent getting the project off and running. Love it, Gav. So, can we get into the site itself?
Great. All right. Look, jump into Land Checker here. Now, pretty familiar with the area now in Bentleigh East. So the address is 38 Bryan Street, Bentleigh East. Again, we're probably 12 k's from the city, something like that.
Yep.
McKinnon High School's up here, the Nepean Highway, just down to the south here, we got Southland. So zooming in a little bit, I'll get the measure up because I can tell you that the secondary school is there, so under 500 metres. Primary school is there, 800 metres, which is really handy. Bentleigh Town Centre is probably about 1,400 metres away, but there's also Bentleigh East Town Centre here, just definitely walking distance there. And mate, it's not too bad. There's some good services. There's a supermarket there as well. It's a handy spot.
I think, Gav, just quickly, do you want to sort of show us, I guess, some of the areas that we have been looking for this client, like why you got the map out? Like, sure. I feel like they've been down in some of these smaller pockets, which I know you know this area better than anyone. You do try and get the best value for money for all our clients. So I think you'd be pretty happy with the result, dragging them up more into the action there, more into the activity zones. But can you talk to sort of some of the areas where it was looking like they were going to be buying? Yeah,
for sure. Now, keeping in mind, their budget was initially around 1.2 to 1.3. I think it ended up being closer to 1.35. So you're not going to be able to pick up land in and around here in the McKinnon school zone. No chance. You're looking at, I think we missed out on one here we spoke about earlier at 1.7, I think it was. There is some good results in here in resales, but you're paying 1.5s plus for your land in there. So typically, you sort of end up looking in the southeast pocket here of Bentleigh East. And you've got Warrigal Road, you've got South Road. Just here is the sort of Moorabbin industrial area, which it's not terrible, but it's busy. So for that sort of price range, we'd be looking in here. We looked at 45 Vasey Street for them, just here, but it had a couple of metres of fall, which was irregular for Glen Ira.
Yeah.
And that ended up going for I
think 3.4.
1.34.
So 30 grand above this one, and you're crossing East Boundary Road and you're properly in from East Boundary Road as well, heading up towards the Centre Road shops, Bentleigh Town Centre there. So, so well done. And I think, credit to you, Gav, but also credit to the clients, a bit of patience. And I think it sort of really, really paid off. Like with their budget, they got into a part of Bentleigh East that are like usually, you can see a 1.4, maybe a 1.5 to get in there.
Oh, there's comparables there for land sales up and around there.
Yeah.
And it's just that invisible line, you want to call it, the fence being on the right side of the fence. East Boundary Road really it's a sort of almost like a boundary, and if you can get on,
it's like a psychological sort of
yeah.
play, that because that's the thing. Like, you've got those main arterials there. Everyone can see those main arterials. Your centre, your south, your north, your boundary roads, all that sort of stuff. But all you've got to do is get through sort of Jasper and your train, your shops, you're the whole lot. So not sort of crazy traffic between this property that you purchased on the weekend for our clients and everything you need. That's
right. And on the other side of Jasper Road here, Bentleigh.
Yeah.
And we've seen some incredible results just in here. We're talking $2.5 million townhouses, and there's 2.2 to 2.4s just in this pocket as well.
Yep.
So I think we're targeting.
We're sub two. So yeah.
Yeah, really comfortable with that. So yeah, it is a great pocket in here, and the agents that we talk to when they're always trying to sell us property, but they do really like this area as well. They if they can sell your property in there and then sell townhouses later, they're excited.
Very excited. No, well done, Gav. Very happy with this one. So have we got a Feeso for the big fish out there? You'd be keen to sort of check out the numbers, or look at that buy price. Very nice.
Yeah, look at that. So 131, which is terrific. I think. Even if we spoke about this morning, if there was an opportunity to buy it before, you probably would have gone in under the range a bit, but there's every chance that you probably would have negotiated.
Well, I think
ended up above that possibly.
Yeah, I think, like you said, their limit closer to mid threes and even a little bit above. You get into a negotiation, a boardroom negotiation or off-market negotiation, and you're going to end up higher than that. So it's not always the case with auctions here in Melbourne, especially the southeastern suburbs, always very highly contested. So, yeah, great outcome.
Yep, so we got our acquisition fee in there, which we've discussed the service that the clients get. Our planning fee there, that's all-inclusive. It's just gone up a little bit due to interior design costs going up $1,000, but that's okay.
So just for everyone, just quickly, that's got town planning drawings, working documentation. It's got the demolition of the site in there. It's got marketing costs. It's got interior design, as you said.
All consultants.
Town planning costs, surveyor, arborist, all that sort of stuff. They're your soft costs, which get you to the build.
Yeah, and maybe in another episode we might go through that.
That's a good one. I like that. Let us know, Fisher. Let us know in the comments if you want us to break down some of these bigger chunks of costs.
Yeah, great. So then we've got our project management fee, which is our standard 8% plus GST of the construction cost.
Yeah.
We have been doing these sort of, lower areas at around 25,000 a square. We actually put just a bit extra in that, just to sort of, I guess there are some good results in the area. So if you've got a bit more in the pocket to put into the build, then great. So, but at the time, if we were going to be paying more than that, then it sort of tightens up the project. But we've probably got enough money there now to, if warranted, we could probably put a bit more in the build if we need to.
No, spot on, Gav. I think the hard work you've done in acquiring the site and acquiring it well gives the projects team, I guess, they can at least have that conversation with the client. And especially if, I think behind closed doors, we know that there's a couple of good townhouses coming to market in that pocket. If those comps start to realise in the next sort of handful of months and suddenly we can lift our eyes a bit, then we can have those conversations and maybe put a little bit more money into the build because we can justify that higher price.
Yeah, well, they're coming to market soon and they're talking about over 2 for those, and it's
there you go.
Within a couple hundred metres. Yep. And that's now.
Yeah.
Let alone
when the market, we're a bit flat.
A bit of a soft market.
Yes.
So this couple, it's all residential finance, so 20% deposit on both the land and the build, and we had in here resales at 1930. Now I'm really comfortable with that.
Yeah, really happy with that.
It's true. It's 300 square meters. It's a south-facing block, but it is a very, very nice area. The street's fantastic. We'll get 28 square, 4-bedroom townhouses on there. They'll be great accommodation, and the comps between 1.9 and 2.2 comfortably.
Yeah, I think, 100%. I think looking at the way we do it, Gav, the realistic, pessimistic and optimistic, I think in 2 years' time we're going to be playing in the optimistic well and truly, and we know the product we're going to put to market, so we're very confident with that. So no, this is a really nice looking feasibility, Gav. Just quickly, I know you mentioned it earlier, but the equity that they're putting into the project, or the estimate equity they're putting into the project, about that 30%. Which is super important. I think a lot of people always ask, how do I get into this? How much money does it take to get into a project like this? There you go. That's a FISO that's around that 30%, and that's what these guys are doing. That circa sub $1 million, they're putting in equity and they're lending the rest.
So that includes the forecast holding costs. Personally, I'd like to have another 15 to 20 in the bank. Up the sleeve, just to get out of jail free, if you like, or get out of jail for 15 grand. But keep in mind that, the market is a little bit softer at the moment. It's a great purchase price in a really good pocket. These sort of deals don't come along very often. And if we're trying to find a site in, say, early next year, in summer when the rates have probably come off a little bit, depending on which commentator you listen to.
Mate, 155. That's the thing. We don't know when it turns, but when it does turn, you won't be falling over yourself if they're 155.
Absolutely. So, yeah, that does give you an indication of the sort of money you need to start, but you'd probably want to have a little bit more up your sleeve.
Yeah, 100%. Great advice, Gavin. Well done to our clients. They're amazing people also, and they've bought well. They've entrusted us to make sure they get the best property and best bang for buck, and you've got them into a pocket of Glen Ira I didn't think they were going to get into that pocket, to be honest. So
not with that budget.
100%. So amazing outcome. Well done. You've probably got more clients to service now, so you've got to go away and make a few deals stack for them. Hopefully this softish market hangs around so we can get some more clients in. But if you are keen and you are looking to buy a site, please reach out, because the team in here, headed up by Gav, they find the diamonds, they do the work, and, once you've listened to that episode, you'll understand the value that a place like this brings. The value, what you bought it for, what you're going to get on the site, how you help them through the process. Amazing.
Yep.
Outstanding. Well done, Gav.
Good time to buy.
Good time to buy. There you go. Site Insiders, if you know, you know. Project Snapshot, guys, keen to get into this one. Our super site, Sandringham, Daly Road. As I said, I think about 5 weeks ago, Gav did the feasibility. We purchased it about 5 weeks ago. The team has already got floor plans going. We've had a couple of iterations also. It's hot off the press. They're flying. Wrapped to have Claire up here to go through it all. Thanks for coming up, Claire.
Thanks for having me.
An exciting one. You guys aren't wasting any time. The client purchased it 5 weeks ago. You guys have had tree data, land survey, first set of plans, second set of plans, and you'll be submitting to council in a couple of weeks. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a perfect timeline. So when you have a client who's purely investment, and I suppose sort of runs through the processes as we would our own, trusts in the process, that's how quickly it can move. Like you said, survey and tree data first point of call, and as soon as that purchase goes through, we're on the phone that week to get that booked in.
Yeah, 100%. So from memory, we bought it like on a Thursday night. I reckon you guys had these consultants booked for early the next week, mid the next week, which is in a couple of days.
Yeah, on the phone on the Friday, still figuring out paperwork and getting all that finalised and the portal set up and admin processes behind the scenes. But we always do those 2 point of call first. They're usually 1 to 2 week turnaround, but if we can pick up that first week, we can't do anything without those items.
Yeah, great point. So in that time, you're gathering your brief and keeping your client in the loop, knuckling down in here, having consultants work out on site whilst you're gathering the brief, so it can all go to the designer in the one hit and the designer can actually move on it.
Yeah, exactly. We have that initial client meeting. We talk to the town planner. We talk through the brief. We have an initial handover with yourself and Gav, talk about what we're going to get on this site, why you bought it, the backstory. We go out to site, have a look if we want. I actually went to this site on a Sunday, and it was just buzzing along Beach Road. Such a great spot.
Yeah, I think we did really well. We'll dive into the design shortly. The orientation's really working. But yeah, really great work. So essentially 7.5 weeks, we'll go from purchase to submission to council. And that's, I don't want to say it's standard, or it is pretty standard when we are left alone to do our thing, and the client's like, yep, I get it, and just letting us run. There's no doubt some clients that they want that bit more time to check over plans and go measure things and check spaces and things. But I think another good point, which we learnt a long time ago, which we tell a lot of people, these plans, you only need to get them to 80%. 80%, and you submit them to council, and we'll go through this, but there's things in this that still need work. But don't rework them yet. Get it close enough. Get it 80, 85%. Submit to council. Get their feedback, and then dial in some of your spaces with their feedback in hand. Is that fair to say, Claire?
That's a really good point, because what we're going to show today is probably pretty light on from what we've shown in previous episodes. And the second plan, which we call our facades, which is where we get our first snapshot of facades, we'll give feedback on this, and we won't see the next set of plans until they're final ready for council. Even though there's a lot of detail missing on these plans, we know that we can review them while they're in council. So we get it, like you said, we're 80% there. We're comfortable with the layouts, the coverage, the boundary walls, everything in terms of volume and mass from a building perspective. But those things like windows, where are your sheds, where are your water tanks, what does your landscaping look like, we get it to a point, or our designer gets it to a point that we know will be enough to submit and council to look at it. But council will always come back with an RFI. So let them come back with that and look at all those other elements, like the size of the window, the exact location of the window during that 4-week period where it's sitting with council, because there's a good chance that they won't like other things that you'll have to swap, or you'll have to change, or you might have to change the colour of something, or something so simple that you've spent 4 weeks finicking on that you shouldn't have, because they don't like it anyway.
Yeah, spot on. I think that's great, and great advice for anyone out there who's going through this process. Don't drive your designer mad looking for 100 mil here and a window move here and this and that there. Let it get to 80, 85%, get it into council, get the feedback, see if they've got any pain points, and then with that further, thoughts from you guys as clients with the designer, work with the RFI and your further thoughts and bits and pieces, because time is money, and I've seen clients do it. They'll just want to change this and want to move that, and what if we did this and what if we did that, and then it goes into council, and then the RFI comes back, and that upper story needs to move like this anyway, and all the sort of BS you went through trying to move this and move that goes out the window anyway, and you've wasted time, you've wasted money, you've wasted hours from your designer. So, nice work.
Pick up the time where your project is doing nothing. It's almost sitting there idling in our mind. Obviously, it's in council's wait list or on their list to review, but that 4 weeks, you can't do anything except review your plans that you haven't reviewed to 100%.
Yeah, 100%. I think I love it when you guys get an RFI back and go, all right, where are our points? And then go, all right, cool. Then you can dive in with confidence and go, okay, we need to rework this area. Is this going to bug council? Is this going to go into one of council's bugbears, or is it not? And then you do it all with confidence. Goes back to the designer. The plans that come back after that go in after the RFI, they are, what percentage would you say they are, Claire?
We like those at 100%.
Yeah.
But there, again, I always tell clients there are still time along the way. It's still got to go through advertising. It's still got to get endorsement. There's a lot of other opportunities where council can, again, change their mind. A neighbour can object. There's a lot of opportunities where you have time to jump in and update something. Yeah. So yes, while we like them very close, we just even that moment before you get endorsement, you can still change a splashback window in a kitchen.
Yeah, correct. You're spot on. Because even when you get that permit down here in Victoria, you get the planning permit or that notice of decision, you've still got that period to get your plans endorsed, and you can tweak between permit and endorsement.
And there might be something on that permit that's a little bit of a surprise. Hopefully there's not, but there might be something that has sort of come along the way through advertising, through an objector pushing council a certain way that you still have to make updates anyway.
Yeah, spot on. I think you want to be a little bit flexible, a little bit liquid in the way you manage it, and you guys do a great job of that. So 7 weeks purchase to submit to council. We're nearly there, a week or so to go. Can you take us through the project brief? What you said to the designer, we've got the first set of plans, and then we've got a further progressed set of plans that, are looking really good. Exciting for myself and Gav, who obviously put these sites on your desk, and we want to see them, be successful. It's great to see, the floor plans you guys are achieving.
Before the floor plans, the brief was, this is corner site. If anyone's remembering, you can jump back at what episode was it?
Episode 6.
Recap on episode 6 and then watch this. So we've got Daly Road and John Street on the corner. The idea was to have a standalone facing Daly Road, and then essentially on John Street have a side-by-side, so like a dual lock. That was the intent. We wanted to hit the family brief. We wanted 4 bedrooms. If we could achieve a master on ground, we'll get a master on ground. Your 3 bath, your pantry, kitchen, genuine laundry, all those elements that you're looking for if you have a family.
Yeah.
But then also at the same time, potentially a downsizer in this area. So 3 houses that we wanted to make sure that they all brought value and hit a really great resale. So it wasn't that we were going to put more into 1 and less into 2.
Yeah, no, spot on. I think, and you said it earlier, you want 3 heroes, which isn't always the case. Sometimes it's like, hey, let's make a big hero out of the corner one, and then the other ones can sort of play a smaller role, and you actually diversify the site a little bit and have properties at sort of different price points, which I don't hate the idea of, but we thought we could achieve 3 heroes, and that's what you guys are trying to do.
And that was the plan. And then obviously all north-facing live-ins given this site, so that was really important here. And pools, the feasibility had 1 pool, not based on the budget or resale values. It was more that we weren't sure what we could achieve. So pools in minimum 1. If we got 2 or 3, it was just a chat with the client. So we'll dive into that. But just before we move on, let's touch on light, because north-facing backyards, how important are they in townhouses?
Yeah, amazing. Light's important in houses, and when you got townhouses and you got the odd shared wall, it's even more important. So
and I think if it's not a north facing, it's not a deal breaker. We buy south facing blocks, or we have clients who have south facing blocks.
Yeah.
It's just really, really consider your light, skylights, voids, any other element that you can get light into your dwellings.
Yeah, I think it's just acknowledging your orientation, understanding what it is, and taking the opportunities to get the light into these spaces.
So that was a big factor in this brief too.
Yeah, awesome. All right, take us through what we saw first, Claire, and I guess, take us through where you think the areas of pressure were.
Okay, so first concept plans. So as we know, these are very light on. They're more spaces. They lack doors, they lack windows, but it gives you an idea of what we're dealing with. We achieved 24 squares on each. We weren't at site coverage at this point, but we nearly were. So we had a little bit of room to move, but we were pushing our rear setbacks, and to be honest, we had achieved our separation, which we were pretty happy with. So I guess at a first glance, if we go dwelling by dwelling, we loved the entrance. We love a separate entrance. That was great. First point was the meals. Looks tight. You look at that straight away and it looks small for a family. Kitchen meals was a pressure point. This area here, we got everything, but like we always say, that walk-in robe, is it wasted space? You look at this and you feel like you've given a lot of your site coverage and floor space to a lot of not a lot.
I know what you mean. The walk-in robes are one of my pet hates, as they know. Maxi, Fisher, you boys know. I think it's just an opportunity. So, yeah.
So we were generally happy, but it was more, this was a pressure point and potential opportunity to make this better.
Okay.
Dwelling 2. So dwelling 2 was I think out of all of them, this was the main one we had concerns with. The biggest thing with, I suppose, when we're designing, let's call them square townhouses rather than your long side by side on one block, is that you don't want it to feel like an apartment, and they easily can because they don't naturally have a hallway.
Yes.
So this is, again, like we said before, we wanted all 3 to be heroes. So this was a major pressure point to us we don't want to walk into the living space exactly where your couch is.
Yeah, spot on. I think, creating those zones best you can. And that's what we always say. It's the more you can make these townhouses into houses, that's where the money is, and that's where you're going to set yourself apart. So I agree. Looks like a pressure point. Nice.
So again, you can imagine this master downstairs, not bad in terms of size, bit of a small walk-in robe, but your door's coming off your living.
Yeah.
Not ideal. This, not too bad, but again, felt like a bit of wasted space.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Or an opportunity to pull somewhere else.
Okay.
And then dwelling 3. This was probably our best dwelling out of all of them. It sort of ticked all the boxes, massive backyard. We've got an easement running down here, so can't do much over here, and we're retaining this tree. But this was probably the best one out of the lot in terms of it hit everything, right? You've got a great entrance, a hallway, a master, just a standard built-in robe. The only point here is we wanted to open up this space just to get those higher end sort of luxury feels. But again, not a massive discussion at this point because we're so early in the piece.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go upstairs now. So overall, pretty happy generally, but I remember discussing this vividly in the meeting. This was a pressure point for you, I reckon.
Oh, just the moving space. The moving space, a lot of hallway, a lot of travel space in that middle unit, to be honest.
Felt like we could get some efficiencies.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that was just my feedback. I threw it back to you guys, but yeah, we definitely thought there was a bit of travel space there that, I guess it doesn't really go to anything.
Yeah.
So that was the thought on that middle unit.
And this is another good point. So if you look at 3 and 1, we've got voids over the entrance spaces, which is creating a really luxury feel as you're walking into your space.
Yeah.
We don't have it in the middle ones. There are a lot of things pointing to providing a lesser product for dwelling 2.
Yeah,
so
lesser product means lesser sale price, which isn't good.
And there's no reason in this area, this size site, everything that we can get, there's no reason why they can't all be heroes.
Well, and that's the thing. And when you think about it, you tell me, if you've got a poor cousin in the middle, is your build cost going to be that much different over that site just because you've got a poor cousin? You make them all heroes. I feel like you're not real. That saving that you might think is evident is not going to realise itself. That it's going to be the same.
Well, they're all the same sizes.
They're all the same sizes, but because you haven't managed it and sort of driven it and worked the floor plan and the sort of those luxurious items inside the houses, suddenly there's one suffering. Your Feeso's suffering because you got one that's battling a bit. So, yeah, okay. What I'm getting from the initial moment you guys got the plans was, all right, guys, how do we make them all heroes?
That was what we went back to the designer with, and I suppose if we were 80% happy with these, we wouldn't have really gone back with much feedback at this point. We would have said, push onto facades, let's get moving.
Yep.
We weren't happy with this middle one. And we knew that to make it better and to make them all heroes, it was going to reshuffle boundary walls and reshuffle sizes of each dwelling.
Yeah, okay. And I think good to note that, you don't get to run this process until you get these initial plans in your hands. It's sort of, like we always say, these plans hit the brief. They tick the boxes, and then we need to get them in our hands so we can mould them and massage them into something that, we think is going to be very saleable.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And even going back to ground floor, the spaces are good spaces and they're good sizes, but until you get familiar with what townhouses or what great townhouses are as you walk through. There's nothing wrong with this design. Like you said, it's ticked everything and it would probably sell well, but we know that we can make it better because we've been there.
Well, we've been there. We've heard feedback from buyers. We've heard feedback from clients. You know, you walk through finished townhouses and when you do that, you know, like that middle unit, like you say, you walk in, you're seeing your bedroom door, you're standing at your couch in your living room, you're watching the TV, you're in the apartment straight away. I can see everything, you know. So anyway, you get to know that, and you know how important it is to sort of get it right, and that's why we sort of dive in and you know and challenge things to sort of maximise the outcome for our client.
And that's true. Sometimes it's impossible to get a better outcome. You've pushed it, but you've got to try.
You've got to try. I think when you guys come to that meeting and each time we have a set of floor plans, a first set of floor plans, we have a meeting down in the boardroom and everyone gets in there and we sort of push and pull it and sort of give feedback. As soon as you guys said that you achieved 24 and a bit square meters with each one, with a single garage scenario, I was confident that we were going to get, and especially when you've got that boxy design, if you've got 24 squares single garage box design, which these are based on 3 along a site, I was sure that there was going to be a good outcome there with some tweaks.
Now, what we did is we went back to the designer and we pretty much gave them our problem points and said, this is what we don't like, or this is what we want to improve. We didn't tell them how to do it. And it worked because I was very excited when I got the next plans. Yeah,
awesome. I think that's a great point. You know, your consultants are there. They are the professionals, as long as you engage the right ones. But you engage the right ones. This is what they do. You know, this is what they do. So exactly right. Because that's the thing I've found when you try and lead the witness and say, hey, we want to fix the problem, we want to do it like this, then you're losing their actual skill set and their creativity, which is, you know, they've been designing homes longer than we have. Yeah, right? Correct. Yeah.
As anyone does.
That's right. So, 100%. You tell them where the problem is, and it's up to them to sort of work it through. And I think by the sounds of it, you can get pretty excited by the next design.
Let's go there. So you'll probably notice more detail as a starting point. So let's touch on that. This is now our second round of plans with prelim facades.
Yeah, great. So this would be the set before the final set to lodge to council.
Correct. And we won't see the final set or review it until it's into council. So we'll give our feedback on this set, which we have just this morning actually. So we'll give that feedback to the designer. He'll go, yep. He'll update the full town planning set with your 11 pages. We'll get that back and we'll submit and we'll review the finer details in that 4 weeks.
Yeah, okay. So there's no updates after the brief you send back to the designer. Yeah.
No, if we weren't happy with this and we said we still haven't got the layout right, we'd probably challenge it.
But in this instance, it'll be updates will go back and the final drawings will be there. You'll have a page turn before they get submitted and then in they go in 7 weeks.
Exactly.
Fire.
Okay, so let's look. Dwelling 1 first. We do not have a walk-in robe in the master downstairs.
Tick.
We've moved the ensuite and pretty much this wall, if you can remember, it's been peeled back or pushed towards west about 500, so about half a metre, which has allowed us to put a lot more space into this meals. So straight away, that meals fits a table so comfortably. Yeah, amazing. So you've sort of spun the patio pergola, sucked it in there where the laundry is, and then suddenly that meals has got, just a much bigger space, and that window, that glass sliding door there is north facing, so suddenly you've got nice big glass door into your meals, nice and spacious, bit of separation from the kitchen. Fantastic. Really good. I mean, the entrance was great before. This will be an open stair, so there's opportunity for, the niceties that come with interiors, maybe a bar or something. But again, just like you said before, there's opportunity in this space. We've been able to gain so much more to the meals just by changing a walk-in robe to a built-in robe. And you've probably got more wardrobe. Yeah, 100%. I think you've definitely got more wardrobe.
and you just, better use of the space. So, and that's the thing, when you walk into that unit, you walk around the entry, you look at the meals, kitchen, living, and it's just going to be more spacious as you sort of walk around that area. So, yep, tick.
Okay, so the problem, or let's call it the lesser unit.
Problem child, the middle child.
Straight away, first thing we notice, we've got an entrance. We've got our own entrance with a hallway. So straight away, it doesn't feel like an apartment anymore. It's a genuine family home.
Yeah, nice. And I love the way you open up and essentially you're ignoring the entrance into bed 4. So, you open the door to visitors, they bowl straight up that hallway. What bed 4? What master?
Potentially the door to bed 4 will end up being back here, so it'll be recessed a little bit. But straight away you open up to a nice curved wall, potentially a feature finish, and some privacy when someone comes through into your space.
Yeah, amazing. Like it.
So that's great. We've been able to get a bigger pantry and laundry.
Oh, how's the pantry? That's big.
It's massive.
Right.
Again, there's been discussion in the team. There might be some rework, or not so much rework, but just being able to, when it comes to interiors, the relationship between the kitchen and pantry might change or might improve.
Yeah, I think my first thought is just, the hinge door there. Not sure. It does feel like a long way away. Maxi, you tell us what you think, but feel like it's a fair way away. But I think maybe just that relationship or just needs to just get a bit more fluid, I suppose. I just need to feel like I'm closer to my pantry rather than going through a hinge door. But anyway, just my thoughts.
You're probably right. If we pull down that plaster wall, you could even include an archway. But I know what you mean. It feels with a solid hardwood door, it's feeling very, very closed off.
Yeah, but I think that these are the things, guys. This doesn't need to be fixed right now. Amazing laundry, pantry's hot, and like we said before, it's you get to the end of your kitchen and it's a step away, essentially. So it's not that far away. It can all be worked. It's not worth holding up the program to try and nut this out. Your spaces are there, your build size is there. It's all well and good to be submitted, but just a bit of red pen around that for a bit of work to be done.
Exactly right. We've actually shuffled this whole dwelling over. That 500 we took, pushed in, we actually were able to shuffle this across. About 300, I think, from memory. So this has grown in size, but they're the things that you want to get right before you go into council. Again, build form, external layout, boundary walls nearly. Yeah,
you don't want to be sort of chopping and changing them too much, because I feel like in council you nearly go back to square one once you start moving it on them again.
Yeah.
And it looks like you've dropped another pool in as well.
Let's not forget the pool. So the pool did fit, which is great. So we've been able to do that for these 2 units. This one won't get a pool based on that easement and not enough space in the back. But that's probably, like we say, that's probably hedging your bets anyway. Does everyone want a pool? Probably not everyone.
Not everyone wants a pool, no, I don't believe. So, no, I like that, hedging the bets. And, some people, a bit more grass, is helpful. And like you said, that area over the easement there, a decking, pergola, grass out the front. I feel like that's going to be a win for somebody as well.
They've done a really great job of putting the storage within the dwelling. Yeah. So we won't have extra sheds out the back or storage. So these smaller, like we always say, the smaller backyards in these townhouses, keep them as clear as possible from any services or extra items so you can get more grass. Yeah,
correct. And I think that's something that is usually overlooked by people that haven't dealt with it all the time. Like, you go to enough of these townhouses early on where the services have ended up in sort of precarious areas where you go, geez, I wish it wasn't there. You need to put the thought into it during this town planning process. Tuck them away, get the storage inside. Where are your air conditioning condensers? Where are your bins going to go? Where are your storage? All that sort of stuff is super important to be thinking about now, because these outside areas, they are important that you get right to get the right sale prices, get the big money.
So before we go upstairs, as a quick overview, we've got our standalone on Daly Road.
Tick.
We've got 2 pools. We've
Amazing.
got our genuine masters downstairs. And we've got family spaces, kitchen, meals, pantries, laundries.
I'm nearly, the middle one's sort of warm. I'm feeling like that's the
Love the middle
That's
one.
the rich cousin.
I love it.
Yeah, I feel like that's
It's got everything.
It's got everything really nice. It's got the pool in. That pantry's really
about this?
cool. Amazing outlook to that
Yeah.
tree. I think, that pantry's amazing. Even someone mentioned maybe a little servery out to the patio pergola. That could be a really cool feature. But yeah, big laundry tick. I'm really liking that one.
Direct access outside to your laundry. I love that feature curve. That's like the perfect guest room.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, you know what? It's sitting there in the middle, pride of place. But I think you'd have guests walk in straight through into the meals and kitchen and go, so where's the downstairs bedroom? Like it.
Okay, so upstairs, the 1 and 3 didn't change all that much. We always say downstairs will dictate your upstairs. So if you're asking your designer to change your downstairs dramatically, don't bother giving feedback on upstairs.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And that's another time waster that can happen. 100%. Unless downstairs is right, don't work too hard on upstairs.
So if you can remember, upstairs of number 2 had the wasted space with the hallway.
Yeah, this
powder.
is totally different.
Totally different. Epic master, I think. I love walking through a walk-in robe into an ensuite. I feel that's luxury.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree. And what I can notice is it's just less moving space, less travel space. There's no long hallways walking through the retreat to get to the master. That's the stuff I like, because it's not a hallway. You're just walking through your retreat. And it's a hallway when you need it to be a hallway. Otherwise, it's your retreat. No minimal hallways here, which I love.
We've also been able to add a void over that entrance. Again, that will just create more light into these dwellings, and the entrance space will feel luxury.
Yeah, love it, 100%. And I know we're not at the stage yet, but fair to say you'll be flicking a few skylights around the place. Yeah, amazing. Love that. And love the voids, love the windows. That retreat in that middle unit is going to be a really nice place to spend time.
So now, one of the questions downstairs has been something that we don't need to look at right now, and it won't hold up our next stage. But the question is, we have an opportunity here to do 2 bathrooms. So essentially an ensuite to the secondary bedrooms.
So essentially 3 en-suites. So 3 bedrooms upstairs and 3 en-suites is what you're telling me.
So 4 baths in total, 4 en-suites, because we've got 1 downstairs.
1 downstairs. Okay.
Yep.
So
So
that
in
one's
total-
staying. That one's staying.
Yep.
Yep.
In total, we'll have 4 en-suites and 4 bedroom home.
Yep.
Do we keep the study, or do we? It'll be an ensuite without a bath.
Yep.
The bath will have to be removed from this ensuite because we will need to fit a toilet in there.
So we've got to get rid of a bath.
Got to get rid of a bath, but we will sell, as you can imagine, the icons on your board. It'll be 4 bed, 4 bath, 2 living.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. That's for everyone playing at home. This middle unit has gone from 0 to hero. And do we go the 4 bed, 4 en suites? The space is there. We've just got to forego that little study nook, which not too phased about that. Lots of opportunities to put a study in the retreat or in one of the beds if you so choose. But we'd have to remove a bath.
Do you need it?
Not sure. Let us know. But like we keep saying, this is far enough down the track to submit to council. We will tweak all these things once we get our RFI back. And once we get your thoughts back, they will come back before we get the RFI, and we can see which way we want to go. But wow, how luxurious. Sandringham, 4 bed, 4 bath.
I don't
2
mind it if
living,
you have
2
teenagers.
Car, pool. Oh, 100%. If that's your buyer, you probably don't need a bath. My only thought is, anyway, I'm not going to lead the witness. My thoughts, I'm not going to buy it. So let us know what you think. Claire, amazing. Plans have come a long way. And like you said, in a week or so, we'll have the final town planning set, which will be submitted, which will be even further progressed. but these are really on the right track and super exciting. I feel like you got 3 heroes there.
We're really happy with how it has developed so far. We're excited to get into council and get feedback. No doubt it may be a bit of an area where we may get some objections or more input from the neighbours, but we're comfortable with our design and the client's really happy. The client's been great. Purely investment. He's followed along the whole way, had input here and there.
Yeah.
But timeline, everyone's really happy.
Yeah, great. I think, fantastic. Timeline's good, what we're looking to achieve on the site. And I think, like you said, whether we get objections or we get some feedback from council, all that we're doing is within the rules. It's within the local council guidelines, within res code. We're not doing a 5-story apartment block. We're doing 3 double-story homes. No basements. This is quite risk-free type of development. And
that's important to say.
Yeah,
because even
100%.
when we get objectors, maybe it'll slow us down with a month or not even 2. I would say a month. It slows us down with that notice of decision period. But we're well within the policies that council and the council guidelines, and council have always supported what we're putting forward.
Yeah, correct. I think, and that's council's job, and now more than ever, there's no doubt there's an element of government leaning on council to not get too involved in things that are within res code and local council guidelines. So let's get these dwellings through. Let's increase the density with these townhouse developments in areas that already have infrastructure we can help our population growth and the battle that we've got at the moment for new housing. So well done to Little Fish, helping fix that problem one project at a time. Claire, thanks for coming up. Really excited to see these. Excited to see that second iteration of plans and I guess how it evolved. That was the first time I've seen them. So yeah, really think we're on the right track there, and yeah, look forward to the feedback. Hopefully it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, we'll jump back on maybe after advertising.
Yeah, after advertising, a couple of months down the track, we'll see how this fares and see what feedback we get and how the plans evolve. So super excited with this one. Can't wait to see it sort of rocket along. You guys are you're not wasting any time. So well done. Keep it up, and we'll see you next week, Claire.
See you then. Thank you.
Please, guys, anyone that's going to get value out of that, share some amazing insights from Site Insiders, from Gav, that journey from that client, site acquisition, then into project management, and Claire's come up and given us amazing insight into one of our favourite sites. Happy developing!